Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is May 5th, 2025. This is our regular meeting of the Gorham Planning Board. Would you please join me in pledging allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please silence your cell phones? Thank you. Mrs. Hyman, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Mr. Frank?
Here.
Mr. Walsh?
Present.
Mr. Hager?
Here.
Mr. Benson?
Here.
Mr. Delaney?
Here.
Ms. Nichols?
Here.
Mr. Crucifullia?
Here.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in our packet, we have the planning board minutes from April 7th. I'd ask our newly elected secretary, Ms. Nichols, if there were any corrections, comments, suggestions, please.
Well written. There are two very minor. Right on the very first page, where Chair Jim Hager called the meeting to order at 7, and there probably should be a colon in there. And then on page 3, the bottom paragraph, the start of the second sentence, I think, should be she instead of he. And that's all I found. Everything else looks good to me.
Very good, thank you. Anyone else find anything, any little glitches or boo-boos
Yep, she got them.
with those? Is there a motion, please?
Mr. Chair,
Thank you, Mr. Walsh.
I make a motion that the board accept the planning board meeting minutes of April 7th as amended.
Thank you. Is there a second, please?
Mr. Frank seconds.
Mr. Frank, thank you. Everyone all set with this by consensus? We're okay? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. Looking at our agenda, I have the proud distinction of recognizing former board member Mr. David Burrows. My own personal sense is I sent him a note back in January trying to twist both arms one way or the other, but I think his heart has spoken to him loud and clear. I thank you for your service. We have a little presentation here. If you'd like to meet me at the podium or the center.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
wherever you want. Take a picture.
Maybe someday.
Thank you. And I invite members of the board, please.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
David, always a
Hold
pleasure.
up so we can
Service.
see it.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sorry, I gotta come give you a hug.
Thank you.
And you'll be able to watch us the first Monday of every month at 7 p.m. Wish you the very, very best of luck. And thank you for your attention to detail as our secretary and your knowledge of the intricacies of a drawing, which I think is important, as you know. Thank you so very, very much. Anyone else? Anyone else that like to add to that?
Well done.
Moving along, Chairman's report. I don't have anything to report other than congratulating and thanking Mr. Burrows for his time and service. Moving along, committee reports, Ordinance Review Committee, Mr. Walsh.
Yes, the ordinance committee just met, and we have worked through, over 3 meetings, we've worked through a read of a rewritten off-street parking standards. And I think the modifications will be presented to this committee, to this board at a future meeting. And we'll summarize, I will attempt to summarize the discussion and the changes that have been made, so we can, because our alternative was to have a full planning board workshop over them. And we kind of thought maybe people appreciate if we didn't do that, and we just kind of presented what we did and why, and then take it to a public hearing in the same meeting. Now, if that's acceptable, everyone, we'll move in that direction.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. And looking to Mr. Yakulov, were you thinking maybe June, just to give other members that weren't there this evening?
Yeah, I think that was what we were talking about in terms of the scheduling. So June 2nd,
Okay, okay.
planning board meeting.
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Comprehensive Plan Implementation Committee, Mr. Frank.
We did not meet.
You did not meet. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, moving along. Administrative Review Report, Cherry Hill Farm Market. Who from planning would like to take this on?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we had one item, that was the Cherry Hill Farm Market at the Shaw Brothers Family Foundation that was approved by the committee with conditions. So that'll be a stone building that's on Main Street, Lower Main Street there. And it'll be a very nice looking building. Everyone is looking forward to seeing that come to fruition. So it's approved by the committee and they're working through their permitting at this point. No other items before the Administrative Review Committee at this time.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, moving along to item 1. This is a discussion, revisions to the backlot ordinance. Proposed revision to the Land Use Development Code provisions allowing for development of a back lot to clarify provisions for setbacks and street access. Is there someone from planning that would like to introduce this?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. We passed this ordinance at the beginning of last year and have, with the implementation of it, found a couple of things that need clarifying along the way so that it's more easily usable. So what we've done is we've added in some different language to spell out what things mean. So in the second section of this on page 2, we've added in that backlots can be created from any legally existing lot of record, and then added in the word "and" to make it read better. And then on page 3, we've added a 30-foot width for what's known as the pole part of the flag lot. And we've added a picture to this to have this show up a little better, which is on page 2. So you can see where the flagpole part is. So we've added in a minimum width for that. We've added in the addition of a private way option for the use for what would be the entrance into the back part of the lot, and some other language, which we would, this is a discussion, so this is meant to just give you a heads up of the changes. But what we would look for you to do is to decide whether you want to send this on to public hearing at the next meeting or put it on the ordinance committee to have a further discussion of the different changes. And with that, I turn it over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for the explanation. I'll lead this off and be embarrass myself. Flagpole, is that a common term?
It is, that is
Everyone else is laughing.
That is generally what I've run into with other ordinances. That's literally what they call it, the flagpole part of the flag lot.
It's fine.
Flag lot.
It's the pole part of the flag lot.
Yes.
I won't ask any more. Thank you.
Now,
Mr. Walsh.
I mean, that is jargon. And it's, I know exactly what it is, but I think you have to, the layman term, would not know, and somebody's looking to put a flagpole in the middle of that damn driveway. So I would just say, please define it, because yes, it's a flag lot, and that's the flagpole section. I know that, but I know this stuff.
Yep,
Let's get it in layman's terms and define it somewhere,
certainly.
please. That's all I had.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Other members? So what we have proposed is to go to a public hearing or have a workshop on this to review some of the content. Did I understand that correctly? Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd be in favor
Yes, please.
of moving this to public comment,
Public hearing.
public hearing.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
okay.
I'm ready to make a
No
motion
disrespect,
unless
no
someone else.
disrespect,
So,
Can I hear from other members, please? If you had a chance to review it.
Would agree with that. I agree.
No issues moving forward.
yeah.
Public hearing? Public hearing? Ms. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Christopherly? Mr. Walsh? Mr. Frank?
So with one addition, for public hearing, yes, we need to explain or define this flagpole.
Thank you.
Just one question for the group. Would you like to discuss it in a committee before it goes to a public hearing?
A workshop prior to?
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay.
That's not going to be my motion.
That's what I'm hearing.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Are we voting on these things?
Do we vote on this?
Yes,
Discussion?
to give direction.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Please, Colonel.
Mr. Chair, I move to move the proposed amendment to Chapter 1, Section 1-1D, 8, standard for backlots, to a public hearing as soon as available time.
Thank you, Colonel.
Second, Dave Walsh.
Mr. Walsh, thank you. Does everyone understand what the intent is? We're going to go right to a public hearing and as soon as available. Consensus? People okay? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, moving along. Item 2. Item 2, also discussion. Private Way, Kyle Exchange. Will it be pronounced Ava Way? Ava Way? Ava Way?
That's going to be changed anyways. It's going to be an extension of Lily Lane, just to
Well, at least what's on written right now. Ava Way?
Ava.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A request for approval to construct an approximately 500-foot private way to serve up to 3-family house lots. Map 48, Lot 22-2B, zoned urban residential expansion. The applicant is represented by Anna Morrow, P.E., with BH2M. Can I have someone from planning kick this off, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So, yes, as already noted, the name was a placeholder. So, discussion with the applicant, it does look like it'll most likely be an extension on Lily Lane. So it's a proposed 500-foot-long, 2 to 6 lot gravel private way extending from the end of Lily Lane to allow for development of a currently landlocked parcel. So to give it road frontage and access. The applicant has secured permission from the town council to build within the, Lily Lane is a public right-of-way, so to build with that to the lot line. So there's some items that came up during the review that would encourage the board to discuss with the applicant. There's some discrepancies between the stated access standards, so we'd like the applicant to provide some detail on that, whether it's 2 to 6 lot or rural or urban access. There's a few other items. There's an existing snowmobile trail. We've discussed that, and that also came up in a comment from the Conservation Commission, so we'd encourage that to be discussed, shown on the plan, and clarified whether it's going to be relocated. I believe it will be in our discussion with the applicant. The plan shows 3 lots on the parcel, so that would constitute a subdivision. So we would encourage, if the applicant does not wish to go through subdivision review, to show 2 lots. If they do plan to develop another lot at some point in the future, at that time, we would recommend making a division, but unless they want to go through subdivision, in which case they could move ahead with that review. There's Some other items, Portland Water District does have the 48-inch water main serving Portland that passes through the parcel, which provides some challenges at the site, so we'd encourage the applicant to discuss how they're going to work with Public Water, the Portland Water District to build over that. And also it provides, actually ironically, presents some challenges to providing public water on the site. So we would like the applicant to provide the water supply cost calculation sheet to document that, whether it provides, prevents feasible development of public water, and thus would allow for private wells to serve the site. There's a few other engineering comments we'd encourage the applicant to respond to as well, but those are the big items. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, thank you. My memory fails me. Please introduce yourself again. I know you've been here many times before us, but
That's okay.
it's a three-ring circus over
I'm
here.
not the familiar face of Andy. So my name's Austin Fagan. I'm here with BH2M, filling in for Andy Morrill, who is the project engineer. And I'm here with Kyle Exchange, the applicant. So thank you, Damon, for that introduction. As he stated, this is a proposed private way, which is kind of a strange situation with this. So this will be an extension of Lily Lane. It will be built to a public road standard and offered to the town as a public roadway. There is no mechanism to propose a public roadway to the town, so the application for a private way was submitted, and if the town will decide to accept it as a public roadway in the future, that's what it will be. So let's see. As I stated, this is an existing or extension through an existing right-of-way at the end of Lily Lane that is town maintained and owned. Kyle has gotten permission to build a road through it and extend to his land to serve currently 2 lots that will not trigger subdivision review. Based on recommendations from Public Works, this will be built as a 24-foot roadway, which will be 20 feet of pavement with 2-foot shoulders. This was a recommendation from Terry Deering, just to have a continuous roadway through, make it so that if it is accepted for a public roadway, it won't cause any issues with maintenance or having a private agreement off of the end of a roadway. That could get sort of tricky. So currently, which I'll flip this plan around. Kyle is planning to split off what is shown as the outsale lot and build a house for himself on the remaining land. Just to show everybody what the intent is in the future, there may be a lot split at least 5 years from now in order to not trigger subdivision approval. As Damon had mentioned, we'll take that off the plan just to make sure that there's no confusion about what's going on with the project. During the PRC meeting that was held, looks like a few comments were brought up that are also in the staff review memo. These include removal of the future lot from the plan, showing the snowmobile track or path that's on site. It's my understanding that the snowmobile trail leads more or less right along the edge of the proposed roadway. I spoke with Kyle right before I got up here, and he's willing to keep that on the property as long as it doesn't affect anything. It'll stay right where it is, and if anybody's looking for an easement, that could also be talked about. Let's see. We did get comments about the Portland Water District main and crossing that. I know typically they'll allow you to cross at a 90-degree angle, which we are doing at this moment, just for access over it, and we can reach out to the Water District and get approval for that in the coming days. So the plan does currently show the road as Lily Lane, based on Public Works comment, just to make things, linear and make sense, no confusion. The proposed roadway will change from the Ava Way as shown to Lily Lane. All of the comments that we received from staff are mostly minor in nature. As you said, the snowmobile trail, getting some feedback from Portland Water District. So we would love to leave here with an approval tonight, but would be happy to answer any questions that the board may have and talk through the project. Thank you. You have anything?
And I might add, this is family land. My father lives next to me. And
Excuse me,
my-
would you please state your
Oh,
name?
sorry.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
My name's Kyle Exchange. I'm the owner. And with this property, this has been family land, my grandfather's land, and my father now lives out front. My brother is adjacent, and that third lot we drew on there just to be transparent, but my in-laws, my wife's parents, were looking eventually to get them closer to town. They currently live in Bridgeton, so that's the idea. We just wanted to be transparent, but the overall plan is really to have, a two-lot deal here where I live on the remaining piece for myself and my family. And the funny thing is I actually built the snowmobile trail when I was younger, so it was there before I put it in. So we've been there for, 70 years or so. We're happy to keep it the way it is.
Thank you. Members of the board, any questions or comments? Review. Mr. Walsh,
Mr.
please.
Chair, just one question. Can you show me how the driveway will come off for the home you're going to build?
Absolutely. So for the remaining land, we have all along this edge, I would assume towards the end of the roadway, they'll come off here. And then, Kyle, this might be your preference.
Yeah.
There's two locations that could come off at the end of the hammerhead.
Yeah, should be coming off, the side. That way the maintenance doesn't get affected with plowing, not at the end.
What's coming on? Oh, the
Leave my idea.
driveways.
So
So more or less at the end of the hammerhead, perpendicular to. So it'll
Okay.
run parallel with the hammerhead turnaround in order to get to that lot.
okay. As long as it's legal. I know the fire department gets really squirrely about use of the hammerhead.
Fair enough.
All right.
Terry reinforced it with me.
What's that?
And Terry reinforced it with me.
I'm sure he did. Just a question for staff?
Mr. Walsh, please, yes.
No, there's a lot of yellow in through here, but it looks like just detail. And is there anything in here that we should be concerned about, or is this stuff that you feel is just going to be cleaned up if we were to give it? What are we looking for tonight? Preliminary approval on this, or final approval?
Well, this is not subject to the two-stage approval.
All right, so-
that subdivision is, so it's either,
To
the
approve.
options are basically approval with conditions, or tabling.
All right.
So,
So-
yeah, there are some, revisions that need to be made for sure. One additional thing I should have mentioned is the Public Works Department was looking for a turnaround before the property line, so that's something we'd like to see added to the plan. So I don't know if you had a discussion about that.
Yep. So I believe Andy and Kyle here spoke with Terry, and where this is proposed or going to be proposed as a public roadway, Terry was okay with the hammerhead being at the end of the roadway, so that there's not sort of a floating hammerhead on a public roadway here and then an additional one after the fact. So that has been discussed with Public Works.
Okay.
And that would have been, one of the bigger items, but it's good to hear that's been resolved. And the other one, bigger concern we had was about the 3 lots. So we wouldn't want it to appear that the planning board were approving a subdivision without going through subdivision review. So that would be an important edit we'd like to see. So it's really a matter of comfort as far as where the board is at, as far as making sure you're not approving a subdivision without going through subdivision review.
Yep, good.
If I may, we'd be happy to update the plan prior to the board signing it, have it sent back for another meeting if you'd like to sign the plan with just the out sale and the remaining land shown.
Looking to planning. So I think it's an informational piece right now on this particular drawing, but on a future drawing, this might not even be shown.
It would be preferable if it was not shown on the plan that the board signs.
It will not be shown on the board signing
Very
plan,
good.
signature plan.
Thank you. Any other members of the board? Please, Ms. Nichols.
Just a clarification. So there, if I understood right, Portland Water District runs sewer lines under there?
48-inch water main.
A water main. So is Lily Lane already serviced by that? No, it just happens to be traveling through there. None of those homes are being serviced at this point.
If we look on drawing 2, you can see the center line of the water main. Maybe if you can focus in and point to that, dead nuts right down the middle.
That one's like 100 years old, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so with a water main of that size, they're not going to let you tap into it just so you won't drain out Sebago Lake.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's a big one.
Okay.
Yes.
So just don't want to nick that one.
Exactly.
And it is shown in the cross-section profile. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question, and don't mind me, I'm a mechanical guy, I'm not a civil guy. If you would, in the upper right-hand corner of drawing 2, please. Note 1 says, the trench width shown is pavement width for rock excavation. Are those,
That Y should be a V.
Pavement.
Pavement.
it should be pavement, is that correct?
Yes.
Boy, you
Not that
are
I
detailed.
read drawings. In rock excavation, is that one word? Or is that supposed to be 2 words?
You know, you're picking up on all the little things here. That's 2 words.
Mr. Burrows, thankfully sitting here, reminded me years ago when I was sitting in the corner that all these things would be fixed later, and it's a discussion event, so
And
let's discuss.
That will be fixed.
Is that a boo-boo?
That's a couple of boo-boos right there.
Okay, I won't go any further then. I'll trust you.
I'll take a double look at all of them
Thank
now.
you.
Thank you.
On the underground cable trench,
Yep.
we have all kinds of widths, depths shown, I'm sorry, but we have no width shown.
So it would just be whatever is required for the trench box to get in there, depending on the depth. There's really no specification that we have or any utility company has other than making it work to install it.
Well, there's some minimum requirements, so I didn't know how you were going to do that, but that's enough for me.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Going once? Colonel, you look like you're going to...
Sure, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion. I move to grant Kyle Exchange request for approval for a 500-foot private way off Libby Lane designed to the town's 2.6 lot dwelling unit gravel private way standard, located on map 48, lot 22B, and situated in the urban residential expansion zone, based on findings of fact and with the conditions of approval as written by the town planner. I'm not aware of any amendments.
You, future lot, we're going to take off, right?
Well, it's part of the conditions of approval that have been discussed, is my understanding.
Oh, okay, so it's not an amendment, okay. Oh, yeah, condition, gotcha.
Thank you, Colonel. Is there a second?
Dave Walsh, second.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Is everyone familiar and understanding what we're going to do here? Consensus, I could go around and ask everybody. I'm going to agree with this. There is a little bit of yellow, as was pointed out earlier, but we know our planning department will be right on top of that, and nothing will pass through without their approval. I'm good with it. Anyone else? I'm good. By consensus? Absolutely. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, folks, for your time.
Thank you.
Forward to seeing you again.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Everyone okay? Do we need any breaks or anything? We're good to go? Keep going? I gotta get myself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is item 3, discussion, sketch plan review, University of Southern Maine Art Building. A proposal to construct a 3-level, 34,650 square foot building and associated infrastructure at the corner of School Street and Campus Avenue on map 40, lot 16, and map 101, lots 6, 7, and 8, zone urban residential. The applicant is represented by Mr. John Smith of Great Falls Construction. Would planning like to open this, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So, yeah, as you mentioned in the overview, it's a 3-story building at the corner there, and it's going to serve USM. The development, proposed development, spans 4 separate parcels. So one thing we've discussed with the applicant is consolidating them into one parcel, which cleans up some of the other review in terms of setbacks and lot coverage. A few other items of note. So the proposed development is allowed in the zone as a special exception. So the comprehensive plan does call for the town to adopt a university institutional area district, but has not done that at this time. So the project needs to be reviewed under the urban residential zoning district, which isn't necessarily a great fit for the proposed development, but nevertheless does allow it and under a special exception. So we can work with the applicant as they move forward, when they fill in those applications. At this point, they're looking, it's sketch plan review, so they're looking for feedback on the project, on some of the bigger picture items. So I mentioned lot configuration, transportation. So it's not necessarily a lot of new use on the site. It's moving some uses around. So that's something they can account for as they provide additional information. Access to the site is something that can be discussed. They provided sidewalks within the site as per the zoning requirements. Access to the site, they've supplied sidewalks as well. There is a crossing at a school and campus that's on the threshold of being a high crash location, so that may warrant some more attention as far as the pedestrian crossing and other vehicle movement there. The applicant's looking at adding some additional outbuildings on the site that may be part of phase 1 or a phase 2 potentially. That is something we understand they're looking at, as well as potentially removing and relocating the ROTC program building to another location on the campus. And there are some other comments here. Oh yes, so the one thing to notice, School Street is being repaved, so that's something they're looking at, utility connections on School Street and coordinating with Maine DOT. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, Mr. Smith.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Thank you. And thank you, planning board members and staff, for getting us on the agenda for tonight. You'll see on your agenda that it was Julie Curran that was supposed to present, and she sends her regret she was unable to make it. However, she would take great pride in letting you know that the B team has arrived here to talk. So, so with that said, my name is John Smith with Great Falls. Excuse me. Tonight we have a pretty good team with us. We have from USM, Matt McCammon and Dave Burrows. Actually, I thought he was here representing USM. I didn't know he was getting an award tonight, but thanks for coming, Dave. And then we have Tom Blanchard and John Souther. And with the design team, we have Mike Johanning, who's the project architect, and David Woodward, who's the project landscape architect. And I was going to do just a little bit of an introduction and then turn it over to Mike to talk more about the project. So this project is it's a 2-phase project. Just to give you some context, the ultimate goal is to renovate the Roby Andrews dormitory. Currently, the art facility resides on the ground floor of that facility, so it's necessary to move that out of the Roby Andrews facility in order to renovate. So the first phase, which is what we're here to talk about tonight, is the art facility, and then the next phase, which we're in the planning phases for now, and moving at a pretty good clip, is to renovate the Roby Andrews hall, which is definitely a project that's due. So we're excited about these. USM's excited about them, and we've put a lot of time, over 2 years at this point, has gone into planning for the project. And as Mr. Chairman had said, we have a facility that's 3 stories, 34,650 square feet. And there is a kiln facility that currently resides on campus that ultimately would like to be pulled down near this, just for proximity to the art building, as well as a welding shed. Those 2 items, you'll see, Mike will point those out on the plan. This building is for the physical arts, such as ceramics, sculpture, gallery and lounge spaces, woodworking, digital and photo, drawing and classroom spaces, along with some office space. And that really sums up the project that we're looking at. I'm going to turn it over to Mike now to talk in more detail.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Good evening. I'm Mike Johanning. I'm an architect with WBRC. Thank you for your time this evening to review this project. There's a lot of good information already presented to you, but just to go over some higher level pieces for the site. For those of you who are familiar with it, there's a pretty good slope across the site, starting from Campus Ave and then coming parallel down School Street. The idea being, with this 3-story structure, we're actually going to tuck the lower level half below grade to reduce the overall scale of the building, and that'll help it position it on site pretty nicely. As you're aware, this is a pretty heavily traveled entrance in for USM, so this is a prominent location for them on site. And as a part of the building piece, we're looking to maintain a lot of that parking that's in and around it. So keeping the lots there in and around to serve this new building. As was mentioned, there's no real added programs coming onto campus with this project. We're just bringing in programs that are in other buildings on campus already and consolidating them into one facility on campus. And that, as John mentioned, that'll be a huge plus for some future work with Roby Andrews down the road. So the building main entrance, in this location here, as you come in, just off this parking lot, so we can get a nice accessible entrance into the building. And then we're also looking at a loading entrance up towards the north side of the building as well. And I say loading entrance, but the reality is it'll be served by a box truck. So they get a couple deliveries a year for clay, so it's not a real heavy use back there, but they do need a place with an overhead door so they can kind of get that material into the building. As was mentioned, there's a number of programs being served in this building, from woodworking, sculpture, ceramics, drawing studios, photography. But one of the big kind of community assets that this building is, they have a great program. The rec program offers called the Art Lab. The thought being that'll be one of those classroom spaces that are coming over in this facility. So we have a new opportunity for the tie-ins with the rec program as well for the Art Lab program. And as was mentioned, we're looking at two potential alternates down the road for some outbuildings towards the north side here. We're looking at for a welding shed and a future kiln building as well. Those are currently outbuildings up by Roby Andrews, and the thought being that down the road, should the budget be allow it, those facilities would move over here, and that'd be a good location for them, good proximity to the new building. And also just make that connection a little bit better. The idea with keeping them separate from the building is just from code reasons, separate structures. There will be keeping the separation distance, but having the welding and kiln together work well from a code point of view. We did lastly have a good conversation with the fire department as far as locations go for sprinkler access and getting in a fire truck in and around through these lots. We have run the auto turn for that, just to make sure those fire trucks can get in and out with no problem as well. And that's what I had for comments.
Thank you. Everyone catch all of that?
Yeah.
Mr. Walsh, please.
Do you have any elevations, drawings of the building at this point?
We have some massing studies that I can show you if you want to see those.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
just more curiosity. I'd like to see what it would look like.
So we haven't gotten into, we're still working for the programming of the spaces and really trying to dive into how these spaces are going to lay out. So we haven't done anything with windows, layouts, or fenestration, and things like that. But we have looked at massing for the campus. And what we're looking at is really 3 volumes. So you have this kind of larger volume, this purple tone up in here. And then this would be the entrance here. So here's Campus Ave. Right here.
Excuse me, I believe there's a microphone, if you don't
Yep,
mind.
Sure. That work for you? Perfect. Maybe? How's that?
Very good.
Perfect. Okay,
Thank
great. So looking at 3 volumes here. So here's Campus Ave coming in.
Okay.
And here's the parking lot in the foreground. The main entrance to the building would be in this area here. So we're looking at kind of 3 volumes. And they'd be sloped roof volumes. And so you'd have a larger volume in the background here, and then a volume that kind of step down in the foreground, and then this lower piece, the deliveries would be coming in around the back. And we've kind of done 4 views here, just giving an idea from this massing. So here's kind of the view from the northwest corner, looking back towards the building. We have a retaining wall in here because of what we're dealing with for the grades. This canopy here would be where we'd locate the overhead door for deliveries. And then from looking, if you were along School Street, kind of looking up School Street on the bottom here, it'd be kind of looking up the roadway. Again, here's where that overhead door would be in this kind of mass here. And then if you were at the intersection of Campus Ave and School Street, here'd be that corner with the larger volume and a smaller volume in back. The main entrance to the building would be around the corner over here. And again, these are very early concept massing, just getting an idea for scale of the building.
All right, that's helpful, thank you.
Great.
Mr. Frank?
Would you put that up on your screen again, please? I mean, on my screen.
There you go.
I'm looking at, you said view toward corners. Are we really looking at the view from a corner rather than toward a corner?
Yeah, so this is kind of it's toward the corner. So this is the northwest corner of the building here, this view here. So you're looking towards that northwest corner.
So we're really looking at the view from the north, where we're standing at the northwest looking at the building.
Correct.
We're not looking toward the northwest. We're looking toward the southeast. True?
That's correct. You're looking towards the southeast, correct,
Okay,
from that corner.
thank you.
Yep,
I hate to get turned around.
understood.
Ms. Nichols, please.
I know this is just all preliminary, but I live right next door to you.
Great.
So the front of the building is going to be, let me put it the other way, the back of the building is going to be on School Street.
Well, what's kind of tricky about this building is there's really no back to this building because of how it sits. I mean, we're going to have to make sure we're looking at the frontage of the building that's on School Street. And then obviously you have a side that faces Campus Ave. And then you have a side that faces the parking, which is where the entrance to the building is going to be at. I'd say the kind of back of the building is more towards the north side where those deliveries are going to be at.
So the side, though, that most of the traffic is going to see, that I go by all the
Sure.
time, being the back of the building, I would imagine being an art building might have large windows displaying art or sculptures or whatever that's there. And then and that's just a wish, because I'll see it a lot. But also, there's sidewalks on School Street there, and that might be being addressed when they pave. But I know you have sidewalks shown here within the structure. But what about on School Street? Will there be sidewalks coming from town on that side there? Right there, they do come from town, but they're on the opposite side of the road. And then at the bottom of the hill, they end.
And then crosswalk.
So none are going to be on the side, there won't be additional sidewalks on the side that the building is going to be on?
We're currently not planning for a sidewalk at that location.
Okay.
If you don't mind going back to the plan view, please.
Yep.
So to further discuss this, we have, if you don't mind pointing, perhaps for Mrs. Nichols' edification, the existing fire hydrant, yep, right there. And then there's the crosswalk. You're going from the east side of School Street, crossing over to the west side of School Street, and then onto the campus, if that makes sense.
I just, in my head somewhere in the world, I'd love to see that sidewalk keep on going up the hill, up Fort Hill. So because if you're walking into town, it's just really difficult at that spot. You have to cross over because it all crosses. And so I just didn't know if that was going to be part of kind of building on there and then having the sidewalk being on both sides of the road at that point. But it makes sense.
Mr. Walsh?
Yeah, just could you tell us a little bit about stormwater management for this building?
So, Dave, do you want to talk a little bit of stormwater? I'll let Dave handle that.
Dave Woodward, WBRC. Good evening. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, so there's some stormwater catchment facilities that are on campus that are just to the north. So there's an opportunity to, like, this existing parking lot drains to that currently. So the drainage around the building is probably going to most likely be picked up with, foundation type drains and then discharged to the stormwater system that's in School Street. It's pretty basic because, we're not building, this parking lot's existing. It's most likely going to be, resurfaced and striped, so it looks nice, but that's not new impervious, and it's already being treated.
So the stormwater off the roof of the building is going to go towards School Street or towards your existing stormwater system in that the parking lot slopes to?
Currently, the idea is that that would be treated and then drainage pipe connection to School Street. Well, the campus has a huge plan, right? I mean, it's divided up into watersheds.
Yep.
This was like a fraternity house. Mm-hmm. This part is not really there's like these lots that were merged in aren't really included in that. So there's a bunch of drainage that comes off, and actually there's a stormwater pipe here, and it just goes right into the storm system. But we're trying to improve on that, so we're just going to have, treat the roof and then discharge into that pipe in School Street.
And is that the one goes down to Tannery Brook?
Yes, I believe that's where it goes.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Frank?
Your elevation drawings, your roofs don't all go in the same direction, from what I remember, correct?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, where the three different volumes have three different roof slopes, and they're heading in different directions. Again, we're trying to break up the overall mass of the building to break the volume down. Yep.
Anyone else?
I did.
I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
I did want to mention, because you were
Yes.
talking about the sidewalks, we did have a meeting with some staff, and there was some discussion about possibly the town may do the improvement, but would actually have this cross here and then over, because this is kind of an awkward, sort of long crossing. So this would be a shorter crossing, but that's something that the town's thinking about doing is at some point in the future.
Mr. Walsh?
One other question. Will there be any lighting impacts on the neighbors across the street?
The thought process with the lighting right now is given the proximity of the building, we'd handle with building-mounted lights for any site lighting we would need around the building. But we make sure we have cutoffs on all of those to make sure that we're not dealing with any light trespass issues and things like that.
All right, so you've already taken that into account.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come back when we get our final window layouts from the building, and so that's something we'll have to look at for the overall scheme of the elevations.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Gentlemen, if you don't mind, if my memory serves me, WRBC is from Bangor?
We have a Portland office.
Oh, that's fine. No disrespect. But under your title block, you just have a website. Are you going to add your formal address?
Yeah, we can
on the
do
drawing?
that. That's not a problem. We will do that.
Just as a matter of record, thank you. Anyone else?
One final comment. I am very excited to see this building go up. So, nice to see.
Well, there is no vote on this. Nice discussion.
Well laid out.
Are we ready to excuse them and thank them and wish them well? Thank you very much for your time.
Great details.
Thank you.
Right at the top.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our regular business. I have a silly comment I would like to mention. This is more perhaps for planning in the future. I'm looking at the item 2, discussion private way, Kyle Exchange. The Conservation Commission, Bill has commented. I would simply respectfully ask that we always show last names.
Bill Marino.
Page 5 of 12,
Certainly.
in case we have more than one Bill.
What we usually do is we cut and paste exactly what people write, spelling errors and all.
Sure thing, no
But
worries,
we will pass that along.
Yeah, it's copied verbatim. What we could do is put in parentheses at the top, Chair Bill Marino or something like
Yes,
that.
yes, please, just, I think we need to close the loop on that.
Identify a little more.
Yes.
Certainly.
We also received a draft comment of the sidewalk notes from last week. For those of us that were there, but for everyone else, if you don't mind reading, reviewing, getting back to planning department with any comments or suggestions. It was a beautiful day. I think the first day that it stopped raining. I was reminded later in that, and I passed that along to planning, is that anytime we're walking through fields and grass, we might be able to be aware of ticks, and I was worried. So next time, we'll put that. I asked them to please put that on the notes as we read them, to go check for ticks after the fact. That's enough for me. Ladies and gentlemen, anything else?
Well, one question. So the board, we had tentatively scheduled for a full board workshop Monday, May 19th, and we were kind of talking about in the workshop on the ordinance committee whether there should be just a straw poll to make sure people are available before we go ahead and formally schedule that. So, do you want to do a straw poll or see who's available?
Does everyone have a calendar handy that you can look at?
Mm-hmm.
In which is the date that you propose?
May 19th, which is the second board meeting time. The start time could be earlier than 7 p.m. It could be 5:30. It could be 6.
I will be out of town. I had already planned that, so I apologize. I will not be available May 19th. So looking at others, you want to meet that day earlier?
Why earlier? Would you be able to meet earlier?
No, I will be in London.
Lucky you.
Well,
So, but are we still looking at, you're looking at earlier than May 19th or earlier in the day? Like the week before May 19th?
earlier that evening.
Earlier that evening.
All right, but still sticking with the 19th?
Yes.
If the board is available.
Yeah, I'm available. I can do
At
a 6
3
o'clock.
o'clock,
I can do a 6 o'clock start.
We could do some supper, pizza salad, sandwiches salad, something like that.
Sounds great.
I'll come home for that.
I don't think that would.
I have fish and chips. You're in London, remember?
And tea.
At, did we
Six.
say 6 o'clock?
6.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Um,
Dinner at 5:30 or dinner during the workshop? It's common with other boards and committees.
Either way,
Either way.
what's the board prefer? We could get the food. We could have the food available at 5:30 if people want to come then, and the meeting could formally start at
this is so
6.
easy. Makes it very easy on my end. I just say, sorry, Dan. See you later.
You're on your own.
How about have the food available at 5:45 and we'll start the meeting at 6?
Yep.
You're in charge that night,
Gonna put 5:45 down.
Right, just so
outside.
you get
I'm
home.
a question mark for that night, so I can't give you a firm answer right now.
Okay.
We need at least four.
What are the topics under review? Because we already have two that can't make it, there may be another, and I want to make sure, depending on the topics, that we have a full group.
We have the planning board ordinance. We have the planning board rules and bylaws.
Yes.
We have pedestrian overlay district and connectivity discussion.
So,
That's a lot.
that's a lot,
That's a lot.
and I would say, especially with the bylaws and
A lot
some of the
to
other
skip.
comments that or topics that we might want to postpone, so that we can have the full board present.
That's a lot to miss.
We could look at the
That's what we
June,
did in 2.
the June's second meeting time, potentially.
Yeah,
Because the next May
Yes.
day is.
My
is before
issue,
that.
my issue is just strictly personal. I'll be spending the majority of my time up at my camp, which is 4 hours north, and anytime I don't have to come back 4 hours for a meeting, I try to bunch my stuff together, and that's all. And I already have a need to be up there that, like, 2 days, I think the next day, and I'd just rather not have to come back and go back up. But if need be, I will. I mean, I've made a commitment to the board, so that's my issue from here to October.
The June 2nd meeting time is theoretically a time everyone should be available, so that's why I would suggest maybe looking at that. I think that's the 16th.
I believe everyone agrees the 19th is already loaded. So some of those items will go to June 2nd.
Are we doing 2 meetings? Then
June
some-
2nd is our normal monthly meeting.
Right.
But we would have an earlier workshop that evening.
Okay, so some May 19th, some June 2nd?
We could do that, or you could have you could also look at June 16th, I think, which would be the second June meeting. That's,
So a workshop on June 2nd at 6, and then additional topics for.
We'll have a workshop on June 2nd anyway,
Anyway,
because
okay.
you're going to have ordinance amendments from now until God knows when. It's a given. Since I've been here, we've had workshops before the planning board meeting. It's just how much work we have.
An
at the
important item is the planning board rules.
Yes.
One of the things I mentioned, and we need to review this, and I don't have a favor, I don't have a reason one way or the other. I was just asking, perhaps, would we want to start meeting at 6:30 instead of waiting till 7, and then our ending time would also go back to 9:30. But then that would impact workshops, and do we want to be here at 5:30? I'm not trying to impose, 7 is okay with me. I was just throwing that out. That's a totally separate issue to be discussed later amongst the other things. So we're meeting May 19th.
well, unless the board doesn't want to meet without you to discuss that.
You can meet without me, but I respect and appreciate that you want me there. Why don't we all go to London?
On your dime.
It's not my dime to begin with.
If it was just Mr. Hager, I would be fine, but with 2 that we know of so far.
I mean,
Does it-
I can do it. It's just a question of how many of these, in the winter, I don't mind the second meeting, but in the summer, it just doesn't work. And, if that's my own personal situation, and again, I have to make a decision whether I want to commit or not commit to the board, so that's.
The other thing
But
we
if it
could-
looks like we're going to have a lot of meetings for the second meetings for the summer, it's going to be dicey for me.
Maybe not. The other thing the board could look at is just meeting June 2nd at 5:30 and having a full board workshop before the next meeting. And we could get food.
Something's done.
Yeah.
Cancel the 19th, June 2nd, 5:30 with some perhaps pizza
Yeah.
and salad.
Veggies.
Does that work for people?
Do
May
that.
19th is out. Did I hear that correctly?
Sounds like that might work better.
Mr. Walsh, don't have to worry about that anymore?
Oh, no.
A little bit more time to prepare for a second June meeting if we need one.
Yep. No.
All right.
And then June 2nd,
5:30 at June 2nd? Sounds like
So do
that'll
we want
work.
to tentatively pen in the 16th then as well, so that we can, everyone has it on their schedule? And if we don't need it, then we cancel it, but it sounds like there's a lot to review.
that's a good idea. June 16th, is that-
Good to keep that clear, yes, because we don't know if the board will get slammed with applications too, and require two
Sure.
meetings.
Right.
So to reiterate over and over again, planning board, May 19th, canceled.
Yes.
Yes. We're holding the 16th for a meeting. Right now, we're expecting we'll probably have one. And the 2nd, we have a workshop before the meeting.
Correct.
I have a question or request. I get very confused about these overlays and the districts, and I feel like I visually need to see the maps and how it all kind of connects. Is that something I should come into the office and like maybe call and make an appointment? It doesn't need to be the whole board going over that. So
If anybody wants to sit with us anytime to go over any question, absolutely. Come in and
okay.
go through things, definitely.
I'll give you a call
So
tomorrow
we'd
and
like to
then-
have you understand what you're working with.
Yes.
I think as long as it's
Yeah.
not three or more of you at one time, otherwise then it's a public meeting.
It is true. We'd have to notify everybody.
Okay. All right, I'll give you a call. We'll set something up.
Yeah, the zoning map is a little, it's getting saturated, to say the least.
We are looking at some work to pull apart some of the maps and create separate ones to improve the readability of that. So it's, we're kind of just starting the process right now to reimagine some of the mapping. But yeah, so stay tuned for more on that.
We're running out of colors.
For colors and textures and everything else, yes.
Sure, sure.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, is there any other business to come before us? Anything, everyone okay? Thank you to Ben, thank you to the planning department, thank you all for participating this evening. Is there a motion, please?
I will, Barbara Nichols, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second was who, Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Nichols and Mr. Walsh. Is there any discussion? Everyone in favor? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening.
Good night.
8:00.